We are just about to get started. It is Saturday. I have some really exciting news for everybody out there upcoming. And we are just about to go live. Here we go. What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Mizo here. I'm here to talk about PC and tech. If you're not familiar with my channel, or if you're not familiar with my profile overall, and I have some really exciting news for everybody out there, especially for the RTX 5090. It has certainly been coming back in stock. We have seen PNY in stock. We've seen Zotac, we've seen MSI, and we are slowly seeing some RX 9070s coming back into stock as well. Now, Intel is here to compete for a GPU spot, because now it seems that they are actually going to step on their pedal, because they are going to plan to increase their VRAM, especially for their upcoming graphics card, Sparkle. Interesting name, never to say, at the least, but it's going to be, supposed to be, at least competitive. Will it be G7 or will it be G6? Which I will get into the details shortly. Welcome everybody that is joining in. What's up, Alexander? Good to see you. That is our mod. He is our YouTube and our Twitch mod. So make sure that you say what's up to him. He's a great guy overall. But I do have to say I'm excited for everybody out there who is trying to get the RTX 5090. Now, usually I start around 10 o'clock. I had to start a little bit later today due to the fact that our dog Jonah seems like he had some arthritis issues. So I had to take him over to the vet. Turns out everything's okay. He has his shots. He also has to get a special type of bath for his skin condition due to the seasons changing, since it's now turning more into spring, almost summertime, and his coat isn't really liking it too much. So we'll make sure to give him a nice, good bath later on. But for everybody who is just joining in and not familiar with my channel, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. Make sure you stay tuned for all the latest details, because again, if you are looking for the RTX 5090, they are certainly coming back in stock. It is down in my description box down below on YouTube, and you can easily look for it. Let me see here. And if you're looking to join the Discord channel for any help, it is going to be right here. And it looks like of course the trigger word didn't work at that time, but usually it's supposed to come up here. And our Discord channel will be, I'll paste it actually like this for you guys out there. So if you're just getting into PC building, make sure you just follow here or just join it if you need any specific help for anything. And we are willing to help, and we are it's getting to a pretty decent sized community. So if you are looking to build a PC, or you're looking to ask any questions about your PC build, feel free to ask. I do want to feature a build here today, as I mentioned on my earlier streams on Wednesday, that we do have this 9070 XT build we could take a look at. I actually have it all set up right here. I will swing the camera around so you guys can see it. And it's just not on just quite yet, but we will get to it shortly. Now, for anybody that is just joining the channel, or just coming in and not familiar with the whole giveaway that I'm actually doing, this will be going on for a couple weeks here, and it's the Samsung 990 Pro. Actually, it's going to be a week left. So if you haven't joined the free giveaway, make sure you do. And if you're interested in joining it, it is for a 1 terabyte SSD NVMe that you can put inside of a PlayStation 5. It does come with the heatsink, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. And if you're looking to install it into your PC, you certainly can do that as well. Also, if you are looking for some decent merch, there will be some merch given away as well during this giveaway. And if you wonder how you can get to this, to this free giveaway. It's just simply on the website, www.chrismizo.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see Jonah holding the gift. You just click that, and that's how easy it is to join. Now, for everybody who is currently looking for the RTX 5090, they are more in stock, especially at Walmart. They are having them. Now, specifically the website. Now, if you're looking on Newegg, they have them, and they also have more on Amazon as well. So mostly those three retailers. MSI will have it on their website, but they kind of do it in a way where Newegg does it, to where it's more of a bundled deal. So for anyone who is looking for that, that's probably not going to be what you really want, because they bundle a bunch of things like how Newegg does when it comes to, like, say, a ultra-wide monitor, and they'll add a motherboard, and then you can get the GPU with it. So if you're not looking for something like that, they certainly have more at Walmart and Newegg, and it's also down in the description box down below if you are trying to get your hands on the RTX 5090. But there is a current debacle that's going on with the 5090, and that has to do with the thermal paste that's actually inside of the card. And this is specifically to the Gigabyte side of it, because that was the only reported card of this issue. Because this user said that they played the game for about 2 hours a day, which was nothing intense. It was something like WoW. And as they were playing the game, now they do have the GPU mounted vertically, and it was for about a month. So about a month later, they noticed that the thermal paste has started kind of dripping on the side of their GPU. And then they realized that was more catastrophic, and they had to end up shutting down their PC and getting that taken care of. Now, Gigabyte did answer to this issue, and Gigabyte's response to it was that this is perfectly, this happened a lot earlier in their models, that they detected it way earlier. It should not happen to any other 5090s or 5080s from what they're saying, because again, this wasn't the 5090, this was actually a 5080 that this happened to. For the driver updates, they do have a new driver update, so make sure you download the hotfix if you haven't already, because the current issue with it is if you're playing a game such as Monster Hunter's Wilds, which is an issue that I've ran into myself, it will actually end up freezing up if you do not get this latest hotfix. So I actually, before the hotfix, I had to roll back the driver to an older NVIDIA driver in order for it to work properly. AMD also have released some CPU drivers for their 7000 series and their 9000 series, and not the GPUs but the CPUs. Originally I thought it was the GPUs that they released it for, but it seems like anybody who has an AMD CPU can certainly update those drivers. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to end up turning on this PC, and we're going to figure out what type of benchmarks we can really get out of it, especially to see if there's any real updates. I haven't turned on this PC since probably like about a couple weeks ago. More than likely, there probably is going to be a couple. And I'm just really excited to show you how well the RX 9070 XT really holds its own. Of course, we could do another video based on the RTX 5090. If you're more into that, please let me know. Feel free to voice your opinion inside of Discord or voice your opinion in the chat. And as we always are here to open, we're always open and for discussion. So if you're interested to see more of that side of it. But I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about the RX 9070 XT and really wants to see the capabilities of it. Another thing I did want to get into real quick was the whole Nintendo Switch 2 situation. And I don't know exactly how everybody feels about that. Let me know what you're thinking of how that ended up selling out. It was, they had the $450 one, which was just the standalone Switch 2. And then they also had the Switch 2 with Mario Kart Worlds, which was $500 total. So it seemed that it actually ended up selling out really well. Nintendo claimed that they sold so well that they're unable to keep up with the pre-orders. So which one is really true? Are they kind of pulling in NVIDIA? Because they seem like they've been hanging around NVIDIA a lot recently. And from what they're claiming, is that they might not have all their all their pre-orders fulfilled. And if that's the case, then that's going to be a little bit tough on Nintendo's side. And I don't see Nintendo selling out as quick as they did. I don't think they really. I know they always anticipate selling a lot of Switches regardless, especially if it's the Switch 2, since it's the upcoming console. But it's hard to say until we actually see the numbers of it. They actually released some Switch 2 pre-orders this morning, but you may have missed it if you are trying to pre-order a Switch 2. Now, I know specifically Walmart is also doing a special, and with their special that you can actually get their Switch 2 for in that morning. So when the Switch 2 does release on that day, you can get it prior to the afternoon. So that is, if you're looking for Switch 2, you can certainly get it. More than likely, there's probably going to be more pre-orders coming up. I don't really think all the pre-orders really fulfilled as they said they did. They're kind of pulling a marketing move to where it seems like it's selling really well, so that way they can get more people to purchase it, almost like what Nvidia did with the 50 series. So it's going to be quite interesting. So it would be cool if you could test both cards in War Thunder and max settings. I don't have War Thunders, but I do have the Monster Hunters Wilds, and I also do have Wukong. We can test it on that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on this rig, and we'll take a look at it and see exactly what type of benchmarks we can really pull out of it. So we're going to go over and start up this RX 9070 XT. It does have some settings that have been adjusted to where it has been undervolted, and it's also quite overclocked. It actually has quite a decent overclock. It's about 3.4 gigahertz over the standard game clock. So it's going to be quite impressive, and I'm really excited to show you guys about that. So let's turn this around here, and I'll start it up here. Because it's been a while, we're going straight into the bio screen right here. And let's see. Turn this on. Let me turn that around and straighten it up for you guys so you can see it. I'll back it up some. Just moving the mic over here so that way you can hear me, guys. So we do have a zoom feature here, so we'll be able to zoom into some of the numbers if you can't see it. So you can just feel free to ask about anything about it. So I'm just going to tilt this camera just up slightly. But I can't help but admire that build here. Alright, so first thing we'll do is we'll get into Monster Hunter's Wild since we got the PC booted up here. Let's check if there's any driver updates real quick on it. We'll see if there's anything that we really need to run or not. Okay, so we look like we're pretty much good to go. We're just going to go straight to Monster Hunters here. So for right now, it's going to ask about the whole frame generation feature. We're going to leave it off for now, just so that way you can see the raw power of the RX 9070 XT first. So the question is, do you guys want to see it with ray tracing or do you want to see it without ray tracing is the question. Since we got frame generation disabled, we got ray tracing off, and we have the texture quality set as the highest. Hopefully all you guys can see it. So I'll zoom in a little bit just to show you guys the setting here. Let's see, right. I'll zoom in just like this. There we go. So these are the settings we're going to test at first. It's going to be without the ray tracing. And you can see that the system, what type of specifications that we do have on here. And this is just going to be on a Ryzen 5 9600X. We got 32 gigabytes of RAM. And we got a 9070 XT installed. And it does have the newest GPU driver, as you can see. And it's going to be tested on this Sapphire, which is the RX 9070 XT. And let's go ahead and test it out. So the thing about this card too is it kind of makes a little bit of noise when it has that little bit of coil whine when you are using this card, when you are in game. But it seems like over time it seems like it certainly has improved since then. But overall, I'm more impressed with the card, especially since it's well under $1,000 you can get for this card. And it seems that with GPU pricing currently, if you're really keeping an eye on it, right now it's pretty high. And originally when they first started stocking up GPU prices, it was really high. But over time, it seems like the price is dropping. More than likely, the pricing will get better in the near future, probably within about a week or so. But it's something that we have to keep a close eye on because you can certainly get a better deal on a GPU and you shouldn't really be paying so much money especially for a RX 9070 XT, just say, or even for the RTX 5090. It's quite ridiculous that anyone would spend well over $3,000 on a GPU. So let me know the type of settings that you have on your PC if you benchmark Monster Hunter's Wilds yourself. Now, the reason why I wanted to really test Monster Hunter's Wilds, it's because it's on Unreal Engine 5, and we know how unforgiving it could really be. It's not really it's not really a great engine, and it hasn't really been the best at optimizing. So games such as this would really test out a GPU, and I'm just hoping more manufacturers will start to optimize the games as they should, because it makes no sense to have games such as this to be not optimized and just shipping them out, especially you're going to pay top dollar for the game. So far with a 1440p display, we're getting average about 103 so far. And again, this is without frame generation. This is an Ultra. Now, if you are seeing a little bit of choppiness, it's really because of the monitor itself. This is an older ultra-wide monitor, which is meant for G-Sync. So even though that there's a PC that's hooked up with AMD FreeSync, it won't be able to have that same compatibility with this monitor, unfortunately. Now, a lot of newer monitors, they'll actually be able to use FreeSync and G-Sync, especially because of the new, I think it's VESA, that really put in the rules in place to where more monitors are supposed to be, that's why you don't really see like G-Sync or FreeSync anymore, not as much as you used to. Now you're just going to see a different type of display. It's very impressive, especially for what this GPU could really push out. I'm really curious when I test it on a 4K display as well. But it has been really awesome for what it can produce. Especially because this GPU is really worth only like $770 when it first released. Right now it's kind of marked up there. It's like, for some reason, it's like at $930 now. But it should be a lot lower. It should be cheaper, but you can get much more of a premium game and do a whole premium build for well under $2,000. So we're almost at the end of the benchmark here. It's funny too, because I've been really trying to get more into Monster Hunter's Wilds. And every time I would get through that forest scene, and this was with the RTX 5090, it would end up crashing because of that new driver. So now we get an average about 97.42, which is excellent. You know what? I should have pulled up the stats and everything too so you guys could see that as well. But the average is at 97.42 frames. And this is without frame generation. Score is about 33,065. And with the settings that I currently have, which I will show you with the AMD Adrenalin, where I have the overclock and the undervolting here. That was actually one of the stock settings right there. Let me see. Hang on a minute. Oh, now it's restarting because I just hit the overclock on the CPU side. But so right after the restart, I could explain all the stats for you here. So the first time I did an offset of 50 and 75. Then I went up to about 75 and over 100 for the clock speed and the memory speed. And then for the final, I hit about 150 over the clock speed and then about 2750 when it came to the memory side. About negative 20 on the voltage offset. And it still runs relatively cool. The temperatures did not surpass about... Oh, let me run this up real quick. We'll open up hardware info and everything here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just turning on all the overlays. So that way once we go back into testing here. Right now I'm just double checking all the tuning that I have with the GPU. And let me go here into the settings here. For now, I'll just go into Monster Hunter's Wilds here. And then what we'll do is right now it's kind of like on its own settings here. So you could set it to like automatic overclock if you wanted to, or you could actually set it yourself. Now, if you are to overclock, say a AMD card, usually I recommend going into AMD Adrenalin because it's a lot easier to control from there. Because if you do use other programs such as EVGA Precision, or if you're using MSI Afterburner, it typically ends up not working correctly because AMD's Adrenalin will actually conflict with it. So right now we'll run it with frame generation and see how many frames it could really pull out of it. Now it's practically the same with the settings here. It's just that there is no ray tracing that's set on right now. And we could certainly turn on ray tracing afterwards to get a good indication of how good AMD's RX 9070 XT really is. Because it seems that they have definitely stepped it up since their prior generation with the 7000 series. Now for anybody who is just joining in, just to let you know, what's up, JW Cruz? I'm just seeing what you're saying here. The 5090 restock, I do have it in the description box down below if you are looking for it. Typically at Walmart, Newegg, Amazon, they have been recently restocking a lot of them. It's mostly PNY, Zotac, and MSI's Ventus that's usually in stock. Sometimes you'll run into MSI's other card here. But not the Ventus, what's it called? Not the Suprum. There's another card that they have that you could actually get, but they haven't been really stocking too many of those. It's mostly, you'll see a lot of PNY. You'll see the Epic ARGB one, but it's, again, the pricing is really high for it. It's still like around $3,400, like for just that card itself. They definitely have to work on the pricing for sure when it comes to the 5090, in my personal opinion. But it's been quite impressive though, seeing what this card can do. Now you can see how much of a big jump in frames when you turn on frame generation. Even with the RX 9070 XT, it's nearly doubled what we saw earlier. But we'll see once the game bench goes a little bit further in to see where the average score is then. So you have a 9800 X3D, and I guess they built my PC. When I look at Task Manager, it's showing 2 GPUs, I guess. Yeah, that's normal. One's going to be an integrated graphics inside of your CPU, and the 9800 X3D has its own, like, discrete graphics, but you don't really need to use it. So it's always going to show 2 graphics if you do have a AMD processor such as that. And it will also show the dedicated card, which is going to be your graphics card that you currently have. So that's why it'll show the 2. And it'll be the same with Intel, depending on the one you get too. Because if you get, say, like the 14900K, it's going to do the same thing. But it's funny, on AMD systems, it seems like it shows up a lot more because of the AMD Adrenalin. It kind of gets installed in there because of the CPU. You don't really need the Adrenalin software if you have a NVIDIA card, if you do have it in there. So you could download all the drivers that you need for your CPU if you wanted to off of the AMD website instead. That way you don't get it like you don't get your system conflicting with each other. So let me focus on those numbers there. And I could zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. That's probably a lot better there. But we just gotta get it to focus here. There we go. Probably still hard to see somewhat. But the numbers are really decent. It's only getting like about 58 degrees out the usage so far. Now the one thing I do have to say when it comes to AMD's GPUs, that they typically kind of glitch out when you see the memory side of it. And sometimes you'll see some weird numbers. But right now it seems like it's holding fine. Saying that, but it kind of doesn't make sense that it's saying that it's using 17,000 megabytes of VRAM when there's only 16 gigabytes. And sometimes you'll see some weird numbers like that. That's the only thing I got to say about it. But other than that, I'll track the memory clock and the core clock pretty well. Okay, so you have the 5070 Ti. How are you liking it so far? Because I remember your build somewhat, JW. That's actually one of the cards I really wanted to test this card up against, was like a 5070 Ti. So with frame generation, you see how much of a big difference that we get out of the average. We're getting about 172.27. Now let's turn on ray tracing, and with a ray tracing on, we could see how good these benchmarks really can hold. I'll back this out somewhat here. There we go. Okay, so what I did now is I just put ray tracing onto its highest setting here. So I'm really curious to see how well it'll hold up. Now, we could do it with raw power first to get a good idea of where it is. You can see the estimated VRAM usage is about 8.46 gigabytes. That already throws the whole 5060 like right out the window there, because it's well over 8 gigabytes there. So let alone if you have anything else set in, say, like Monster Hunter's Wilds, it will certainly push the envelope a little bit further. So we're gonna do just raw power. I bet you'll see more VRAM usage once the frame generation is off. Okay, so frame generation is now disabled, and now it actually dropped down somewhat and went to 7.71 gigabytes. All right, let's go ahead and benchmark it. Now this is with the ray tracing, so it's going to seem a little bit more slower compared to its average from what we saw before, because there was no ray tracing at all when we did the first test. So you do a lot of flight simulators, so my VRAM for the GPU, it gets high. And I have to lower some settings because I can't max it out like I want. Yeah, I can understand that, because with flight simulators, it's a lot more demanding. And I'm assuming, are you running multiple monitors too, right? And if you are, that's going to take a lot more out of your GPU as well. Especially in flight simulators, you have that variable where you can set up like 3 different, say, ultrawides if you wanted to make it look like you're actually flying. It's pretty amazing stuff that they have out there. Yeah, what type of monitors do you have, JW? Out of curiosity. Since you're into flight simulators, yeah, I bet you probably have some really good ones. And as you can see with the RX 9070 XT, it's holding up pretty well, even with ray tracing on currently. It's once we get a little bit further into the benchmark, it's probably going to definitely push it a bit. There you go. Hey, what's up, Ron? 32 LG Ultra Gears. Nice. Those are really nice monitors, actually. I'm assuming they're 4K display then. Or did you get the OLED ones? I love OLED monitors. If you ever gamed on an OLED monitor, it's a game changer. It's so much different than gaming on something like a LCD. It just, like, the colors are so much more vibrant in it. And again, like with a lot of modern monitors, whether you get a AMD card or if you get NVIDIA, they all work really well because the synchronization works in all of them. You don't have to look for anything specific like you used to back then, which is a really nice feature now compared to where it was before, where you had to buy a specific AMD FreeSync monitor or a specific NVIDIA G.Sync monitor. So you don't really get as much choppiness or anything like that when you are gaming. Yeah, for OLED is expensive for sure. OLED's expensive, but it's so worth it if you choose to take the leap for it. But 4K, that's awesome too. There was something that I saw, which I think is pretty interesting, matter of fact, is the fact that when they had the whole Need for Speed 2 Underground with ray tracing on, that looks amazing. It looks like night and day if you take a look at that photo. It was by Jacob Freeman over at NVIDIA. He actually posted it on his Twitter account, on X. And if you go and take a look at it, you can see how different they look compared to each other. So I upgraded my kids' and wife's graphics cards. Now I have extra. That's the best part. If you could get something extra out of it, definitely take advantage of it. So now we're getting closer to the end. Now I'm starting to question, is the ray tracing really on? Because it doesn't seem like it is. Because it's pulling about close to the same number as we did earlier. Maybe it had to restart the game possibly. Because it seems about the same. might have to see where I can sell them to get money for it. Because if I send it to Newegg, I'll lose money. Yeah, if you send it to them, though, I get it. I'm sure you can end up, you could really sell it easily now because so many people are looking for GPUs. I'm sure you would be able to sell it like right away if you put it online. Whether it's on, say, like OfferUp, or if you put it onto a place like Facebook Marketplace is another place where you could put it. And we got 9130 out of it, but I'm questionable on this one. I'm just going to double check the settings here. It says ray tracing is on. It says it's on high, about 91. Kind of doesn't make sense to me, but and frame generation is disabled. Okay, so we'll quit the game and go back in it. And this time we'll run it with frame generation. You have two 2060s and one 3060. The two 2060s might be a little bit tough to sell. And you know what though? Are you on our Discord channel, JW? Because on that side we do have a hardware side where you can try to sell them as well if you wanted to. This time we'll turn on frame generation here. I'll double check the ray tracing to see if it's on. Okay, ray tracing is off. We'll set it back on. Okay, so this time frame generation is on, and we have ray tracing on, and we'll see what type of numbers we really pull out of it. Because they are on a PC, I got them on Newegg when they started gaming, so they're pre-built PCs. The one that I got them now were all the parts handpicked in Micro Center bundle. Oh, okay. Now that makes sense. So this time we got ray tracing on, and we also have frame generation on. So if anybody that's just here, just joining in, I do have a giveaway that I am currently doing right now. You could easily go on there by going to the description box down below, or you can go to the website chrismizo.com, as in mizo.com. If you go to the bottom of the webpage, you'll see the logo of Jonah holding a gift. You just press that, or you click it, and you can easily join the giveaway that way. So what the giveaway will entail is it will be a Samsung 990 with the heatsink that is 1 terabyte, and it will be one piece of merch. So make sure to go to the website to give yourself a chance to win. And also feel free to join the Discord channel if you have any questions at all about PC builds, Or if you're looking to get a PC build, feel free to check out the website at chrismizo.com, which is just, again, chrismizo.com. The giveaway will end by next week. It should be next Saturday. It should end, and I will announce the winner probably that Wednesday, the following Wednesday from that Saturday. If you're looking to join, it's right in the description box down below, or you can just go to my website, chrismizo.com, and just go to the bottom of the webpage, and you'll see Jonah holding the gift, and just click that, and that's how you can easily join the free giveaway. All right, perfect. Yep, I'm testing out the 9070 XT. And this is actually with frame generation on. And what this build has is actually a 9600X. So it's not even like a X3D processor like the 9800 X3D or a 7800 X3D. I do have ray tracing on. And the temperatures are really amazing for this card. It hasn't really exceeded 60 degrees Celsius. Oh, everything's good. It seems like Jonah's doing well. He just had to get his arthritis shots. Unfortunately, he had some inflammation going on. So I had to take him over to the vet to make sure that he's getting well taken care of. But now he's pretty much at peace. He has that and some sort of skin issue I have to help him take care of. So I got to give him a bath later with that special shampoo the vet gave me. Yes, this is the model with the 12 volt connector. It's actually the 12 volt high power port. It's actually been running really well. And it's funny, over time it seems like the coil wind that was in this card actually has quieted down quite a bit. Before it was like really noticeable, but now it's like calming down a bit. That's probably because the thermal paste is probably spreading on the heatsink a little bit more. Yeah, I do. Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I had one card where it was like consistent, and it was just annoying. But I do have the dog cam. I'll put it on him actually right now. Might be in a bad spot, but I'll move it around so you guys can see him. Let me see. Let me fix it on this one so you can't see him. Put it right there. Seems that he's just trying to get comfortable here. What's up, Plano? Good to see you. Glad to see you here. So we got 154.26 out of it, and this is with ray tracing on. I'll go back to the title screen to show you, just to make sure. But it almost seems like the numbers are the same, like the ray tracing never really kicked on, but I'm sure it's on here. go. And as you can see, ray tracing is on. It's set on high. And one game that really puts a lot of cards to the test, I have to say, is Wukong. Wukong really pushes GPUs, I gotta say. It's probably one of the toughest tests. I could run other tests on there, such as, unless you want to see more of like a benchmark test, I can definitely throw on there. No, that's okay, Plano. I appreciate you coming in. Oh yeah, it's an awesome keyboard. I love this keyboard. It's the Corsair's K's, I think it's the K65 Mini. We're going to Black Myth Wukong to get like a good benchmark analysis out of it. Then we could run it on like Steel Nomad or something to get a good idea out of it. It really does. Like, Wukong's insane. Like, how, like, I'm going to turn on ray tracing now to really push the GPU. And I'm also going to have frame generation off on Wukong. And that will really test, like, the raw power of any GPU, really. Okay, so just to show the settings here, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see. So as you see here, we have full ray tracing on. We have full ray tracing levels at very high, and we got frame generation off, which is right under the FSR. So we're going to get some decent numbers out of here to see what this card can really do. So we're going to apply the graphical change. All right, perfect. We don't have to reset the game. Now we could go ahead and just go into it. This is going to be very interesting. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Wukong's tough. Even like yeah, 5090 struggles. And you're playing on a 4K monitor too, right, champ? I had someone offended because they said that I was going to play Black Myth Wukong. I had to show them it was literally the name of the game for them to... That's funny. I don't know how anyone would get offended by that name. But I only have the benchmark now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, even in-game, you could imagine it's different. Oh, I'm in the way of the camera here. There we go. Yeah, it's getting, like, you can see how choppy it is. It's getting, like, about 17 average from what it looks like. Yeah, you're pretty close, champ. It's picking up a little bit here. But I can't imagine it pick up like right after the upcoming scene here. But if anyone really wants to test out a GPU to make sure that it's working, definitely go on Wukong. That's like a real test there. I gotta say that's one of the toughest next to the Monster Hunter's Wilds. And synthetic wise, if you're checking on 3D Mark, Steel Nomad's really good, and they got another one called Raceway, which is like a ray tracing test. So let's see. It says average is 22 FPS. The lowest was 17. It used a total VRAM of 8.1. So it used up at least half of the VRAM. So let alone, just imagine trying to run it on a RTX 5060. It would just eat up all the VRAM. It'd probably end up crashing if you did try to run it. So this is where the big difference is. Now, if we turn on frame generation with full ray tracing, that's going to definitely give us a different number. It'll show like a bigger improvement there. We'll just go to the settings here and turn on frame generation. That's the only setting that we changed out was the frame generation there. And then we're going to go ahead, apply it. Just imagine how much frame generation will improve, especially when it comes to the next generation of cards. Instead of like how NVIDIA does I think it's out of every 3 frames it can create, they're going to really push it to be like maybe 1 out of every 10. I can't, yeah, it really is. 8 gigabytes is gross. Even the 9060, I think there's AMD is supposed to release that or announce it within the next month or several weeks. And that's supposed to be like 8 gigabytes. But I think they're kind of scared to really announce it that way. So I think there's going to be some changes. I know for sure that there's going to be a GRE version of the 9070 by the end of this year. Thanks, Plano. It was a mission trying to get it, but it's been interesting. I still haven't had the time to really test it without that extra fan on there. Right now, I still got the 4 fans in total on the GPU, so I'm going to remove that extra fan, and I'm curious to see what type of temperatures that can be pulled out of the RTX 5090. But right now, this is for anyone that's just coming in and curious. This is us testing the 9070 XT, and this is with frame generation and full ray tracing on, and this is on Black Myth Wukong here. Yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's really tough. 5080s are easy to find now. I agree. 5080s are a bit easier, so are 5070 Ti's. I think 5070s are going to be very common at this point. Yeah, 4090 is the best. I gotta say, even though that I got the 5090 plugged into the system, I definitely enjoy the 4090. For a heads up, for everybody that's just joining in and looking for the 5090, I have some great news for you guys, because I just got a notification that the Supreme is now in stock. So if you're looking for the RTX MSI Supreme, the godlike one, but unfortunately you have to buy it in the bundle because it comes with the godlike motherboard. So that's one way of Newegg trying to get on top of everybody. It's either Newegg or MSI. They've been both doing the same thing. But we got, instead of 22, we got 42. So we got 20 more frames with frame generation with full on ray tracing on the 9070 XT. The lack of physics on the 50, I don't blame you. And the funny thing is they actually opened up the whole advanced physics now on the RTX 5090s. But out of curiosity, I did end up like going into a game like of Fallout New Vegas just to see if I was able to play it. And surprisingly, it still let me play it. I didn't really get to play it, but I just opened it up to see if it would, and it did. And I was able to load up a game, but I'm really curious to see how it will be, like while I'm playing the game, to see if it would end up crashing. So without ray tracing, it's going to be, I bet, a large difference when we do this benchmark test here. And yeah, the 3090 is a great card too. I remember when the 3090s were even hard to get. And it's crazy. I don't know how NVIDIA made it even worse than the 30 series when that got dropped. But the 50 series was definitely in line for one of the worst drops in NVIDIA history. And especially with all the drama that it came with. So for us to turn off the ray tracing, we just had to reboot the game real quick. There we go. So you have the ROG. That's a rare one. I always like ROG Strix's cards. I actually got the ROG Strix RTX 3080 Ti. That's actually what I'm using now in this build. The streaming build that I have is that's what's in there right now. Just double checking the graphics. We got ray tracing off, and we got frame generation on. So we'll turn frame generation off. I even got the ring it came with. Oh, nice. Daxish, what's up? It depends on what you're looking for. Are you more on a budget, or are you looking for, or do you not care about your budget is the question. That's a real question there. If you just care, if you just want to get your gaming in and you want to be able to get other accessories, just say. I would have got it for the 9070 XT, personally. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, the 9070 XT is really amazing, especially because of how cheap the card is. It's like this card itself it's supposed to be $770. And right now, without ray tracing and without frame generation, I'm seeing about 96, 97 frames on average. Hopefully you guys can see that. Try to clear that up for you guys. Yep, I can see you, Daxish. Yeah, you should be visible. Oh, you mean on the... Yeah, you're on the stream too. Let me try to clear that corner up. I think I got the aperture too low, so it's causing it to have that blur on the corner. So I'm going to raise it up here. Hopefully that you guys can see it better there. I'm going to raise this up real quick too, guys, so you can see better. Perfect. Hopefully that's better. So even without the frame generation, and you have no ray tracing on, you have about 97 frames. You can get a maximum of up to 121 frames and a minimum of 16. So if you turn on frame generation, you can definitely get some real peak numbers here. So if you care about ray tracing, I would say the screen is out of focus. Okay, I'll help that out. Let's see. Let me put it right there. And I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see it a bit better. Oh, wrong dial. There we go. I'm just going to turn this camera around a little bit just to try to get it tightened up. There we go. How's that? So right now we're running some benchmarks here, Potato King. And I'm going to run frame generation without ray tracing on the RX 9070 XT to see what type of numbers we can really pull out of it. So now we got frame generation on here. And let me see if I'm going to manually focus this so you guys can see it a bit better here. Or maybe I got to zoom in a bit. There we go. Yep. Okay, perfect. We're going to apply that and we're going to run the bench. There you go. Are you selling the PC? Well, you can only see the middle screen. I'll take off. You know what? Let me see. Let me see if I could back it up some so you could see better. There we go. That should be a lot better there. To answer your question, I can definitely, I definitely sell PCs. You can go on the website or you can go onto Discord and certainly ask about them or inquire about them. And I will help you out. They're on the website as well. What's up, Daxis? You need help? You can see the big difference between the frames. And you can see how much of a big difference frame generation really makes. The funny thing is that you'll notice the score will actually be quite different. Sometimes it'll actually score lower with frame generation because it's trying to pull all the frames and resources out your system, it seems. It's funny to realize that when you actually have frame generation on, it'll actually end up taking more VRAM. Without frame generation, it will actually take less VRAM. You got scammed on Amazon? How'd that happen? If you got it through a credit card, I would definitely go through them and put a claim in. Usually credit card companies are pretty good with that. But so for Black Myth Wukong, we got 166 frames, and this is with frame generation off, and we also have ray tracing off as well. Now, this is with a system of 9600X processor, and it does have a 9070 XT. Now, we'll go ahead and go into 3D Marks test here, and we'll go into something like Steel Nomad, which is a well-known test now, especially because it uses DirectX 12, and it's known to test because of the 4K. It will really test the 4K capabilities of many video cards. There's also a secondary test, which is called Speedway, which really focuses more on the ray tracing on the card. So I got myself the 7800 XT for $600 Canadian, great deal. But the seller didn't ship the card and cancel it. Now the seller is unavailable on Amazon. Yeah, that's some BS that you got to deal with then. Amazon should have never allowed it. And what's this? This seller have any real feedback or any reviews? It's a shame what people will do for $1 these days. So we're running Steel Nomad here. And here you don't really have to set frame generation or anything like that. It's just going to be their settings for Steel Nomad. So it's going to be the same across the board, which is really good if you want to compare it to, say, other cards. You can really hear the fans kick on too after that. So you're thinking of buying the 5060 Ti 16 gigabytes since it's $650. I mean, it's really not a bad price. But the thing is, you do have, it's limited in its capabilities too. I think it's running on a 128-bit memory bus, but you are on G7. I'm curious about how many, I think the CUDA cores, what was it? On the 5060 Ti. I know 5060 and 5060 Ti, they're practically the same, and that they run off the same Blackwell chipset. It's just the VRAM is more expanded. The seller has no profile on Amazon now. It's just gone. Order is removed from my list too. Yeah, that's so strange when it happened. Now, if you didn't get your money back and you still run into that type of problem, I would definitely report it to your card company. And usually they should take care of it. So if you purchase anything online, I always suggest using credit card just because it's just a lot better of a process, just in case if you do run into a problem, just as the one you have at Daxish. So we got about 7,116, which is a good estimate of 200 plus on Battlefield 5 with a 1440p Ultra. Now, let's see what it would be like with 4K. Oh, it doesn't have that. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably because of the display. If I hooked up the 4K monitor to it, then that would really give a different test here. But so far with a 1440p display, an ultra-wide monitor, you get about 7,116, which is a great number to have. And then if we were to run something like Speedway, which is a ray tracing test practically of the card, you get a good indication of where this card really stands. I don't see any new gen AMD competition for 5060 Ti. The 7700 XT is there, but it got 12 gigabytes and performance is lower, right? Yes. Yes, it definitely is. If you need a card right now, and you're trying to get something that really competes with it, I would say the 9070 XT would definitely be the best bet, or the 9070 with the dual BIOS, because then you can flash the AMD BIOS on there, which is like practically getting like almost like XT performance. Now the 5060, it's more closer to competing. It actually can't compete against the 4070, believe it or not. The 4070 actually gets better numbers than the 5060. So the best bet is certainly to get like, if you had to get like a NVIDIA card and you wanted to get your money's worth out of it, I would say definitely at least like a 5070 Ti or even a 5070 would be better. I just don't like the fact about like how a lot of these card companies are just going off of 8 gigabytes. I could see why you went with Ti again because of the 16 gigabytes. Hence why I would recommend like a 5070 Ti. Now, this one got 6322. That's pretty good as well. But it's not, again, it's not going to be anywhere close if you compared it next to like an NVIDIA card. Again, it's a great card, especially for what the pricing is. And for anyone that is coming off of an NVIDIA card, I always suggest just trying it because you might be thoroughly impressed, especially when it comes to a RX 9070 XT, just say. The 4070 and the 9070 are over $800, and I can't wait for the 9060 though. I agree, 9060 would be good. Now it's rumored that they might not go with the 8 gigabytes as intended. They gotta push up the VRAM for sure, because 8 gigabyte standard nowadays is kind of ridiculous, because 8 gigabytes was, like, when you really think about it, was more than 5 years ago at least. And another test that I like to test here is Firestrike Ultra. Now this has to do more with DirectX 9. I mean DirectX 11, not 9. But this is also a good indicator if you like to play, say, like another title where it has DirectX 11. 8 gigabytes for just raw performance, not even DLSS, is going to be bad for them. I agree, because once you turn on the frame generation on it, it's going to eat up all that VRAM, especially if it's going to be like a large scale game, such as like just like when we went into Wukong, it's a larger game. Same thing with Monster Hunter's Wilds. It's going to give problems. It's going to force people to have to put lower settings on their cards because of it. Now this is one of the traditional and probably one of my favorite tests to do. It's a little bit of a lengthier test, but it's a good indicator to tell you how well your system really is. Let me put the Jonah camera away. Gotta go grab his donut. He's just going at his feet. He'll be back soon. So for everybody that's coming in and wondering about the Discord channel, I'm going to post it if you haven't joined already. And also, if you have any questions or you're interested in buying any type of PC builds or custom builds, feel free to send a message through Discord or contact me through the website, chrismizo.com. Oh, without the D. It's crazy to see because you're seeing the frames like drop. Even on DirectX 11, it just shows you how different the engines are. Like when you really compare them all next to each other. So it seems like we have a lot more people who has the 50 series cards. That's awesome. I'm glad for everybody there who managed to get a 50 series card or managed to get a 9070 XT. Hopefully this dark age of GPUs is practically over. It needs to be. It's kind of a mess how everything is right now. So if you're looking for a RTX 5090, I do have them in the description box down below. They're a bit more consistent. Even if it says it's not in stock now, it certainly will be, like probably in the next 15 minutes. It's been pretty consistent. And the same when it comes to the 9070s, are going to be a lot more in stock too soon. Wait till Computex. I would imagine after then you're gonna see like a good surge. And it'll be a lot more common. You could definitely run into getting RTX 5070s a lot more easier now. Same with 5080s. 5090s are tough to come by, but they're definitely possible to get now. I don't recommend anyone going after like any bundles unless you really need to build a PC. And for those who are just looking to game, I always suggest going for the 5080 because the 5090 I feel is a little bit out of reach, especially if you're just going to use it for gaming. I always highly recommend the RX 9070 XT. It's an excellent card. As you see through these benchmarks, you can do quite a bit with it. Overclocking and undervolting is possible on this card, and very easy to do so. Now, if you have questions about your PC build, or have questions about anything that I mentioned in the title, such as 5090 stock, or if you have questions about a Nintendo Switch 2, about them being out of stock, you can certainly expect to be able to pre-order it, because it's funny. If you take a look at any of these websites such as eBay, where people have posted up a Nintendo Switch 2, they're not looking at a lot of profit. They're only they can only make 570 total, so that's not really anything. It's like an extra $70, and eBay practically takes what, 22% at least. So you're gonna see a lot more pre-orders go up because they're gonna see that too many people felt the same way. They thought they could just make a quick buck by pre-ordering a Nintendo Switch 2. So expect more to come in stock. And I have the pre-order link down below if you are interested in getting one. Walmart also promises that if you do purchase from them and you pre-order from them, you're guaranteed to get your Nintendo Switch 2 by release date in the morning. Okay, so we got 17,394. We have very decent numbers off of it, and which is that's actually a really good number there. Now, if you're Now, if you compare it to any of other 3D Mark's numbers here, if we go to the results, now what I'm doing is going online just to give you an indication of where it sits. So now it's saying that this PC is at 17,394, the score. And if you compare it to high-end gaming PCs, it's saying off of, say, 2023, then it's at 17,205. So it's just like outranking a high-end gaming PC. So here are all the different tests that I've ran through it. But of course, you're going to see quite the gap. And here's some numbers that I pulled off of a 9800X3D and the 5090 off of Firestrike Ultra. You can see it nearly doubles it. But again, you don't need all this if you're going to game on, say, a 1080p display, or even on an ultra-wide. You don't really need to get a 5090 for that. Let me drop the, I see it's a little bit too high here, so you guys probably can't see it as well. Drop that down some. There we go. So we'll zoom in here. There we go. I forgot I had it in manual focus there. Okay, so here are some of the numbers here that if from the prior test that I pulled out of it. Now, off of the Firestrike that was just now, which was 17,394. And then off of Speedway, we got 6,322. And you compare it to, say, the earlier test from here, Speedway, what was 9,905. This is with the overclock. And off of the, no, that's the wrong card there. Actually, I'm looking back down here. With the overclock, it's at 7,421 with the RX 9070 XT. And when it comes to Speedway, it got about 6,338. So you have a little bit more. And that's not even with these, and that's not even with the system like going 100% hard at it. You could even really stress it even more if you wanted to. But when it comes to overclocking, you don't really have to do that. You just want to get a little bit better frames because it's not going to be worth hurting your hardware over some extra frames. So we'll go back here. And when it comes to AMD's XT here, the way you can adjust the performance is right here. You just go into the AMD tool. You don't really have to go into EVGA Precision, or you don't have to go to MSI Afterburner. All you have to do is just go into another tool such as that. Let me move this up here. I think that's as close as I can get the camera to. There we go. Perfect. So it's going to look something like this when you do work on it. Of course, I can take a much better look at it where it can look a lot better once it's actually on screen record. I'm just going to raise that up so you guys can see it. There we go. So here is where you can actually adjust it. The CPU is already overclocked. Now, if you go over to the GPU side, it would be down here. You go to custom. Now they do have its own automatic overclock if you want to. It's on this side if you choose to go that way, or you could just go into the GPU tuning side and do it that way itself. So if you do that, you just enable it. And usually what I recommend is going up just a little bit, just go up 25 just to test it. And with VRAM tuning, you can just push it up to every 50. So right now its maximum is at 2518. So you add 5 to it, that would make it 68. From here, you can also access the power tuning. You can raise the power limit if you'd like. And if you raise it, I know from testing this, I'll just put 10, which is a low power limit raise. And then if you put the offset, you can bring it down by like -5 for now. And the lower the better, because then you'll end up saving. You'll end up not only really saving more, be more power efficient, but you'll end up actually being able to even do better and have a better score off of being better efficient. So even with these just settings, you just apply the changes here, and then you can run it in stress test through here, and you can run it for 60 seconds just to get a good indication of it, just to make sure it's safe. Now 60 seconds is really enough. Usually I recommend going into something like 3D Mark and running a loop like for at least 20 times just to make sure it's good. That's how you know you have more of a stable overclock. But this is just like a real simple and light overclock, which is like barely anything. But you want to increase those numbers by about that. You want to push it for very little as possible in the beginning. 25 for the game clock, and then when it comes for the memory clock, just raise it 50, and then you can push it some more. It's a bit tedious, but that's the safest way to do it instead of just going off of somebody else's clock, because it may not work the same for your GPU as it does for them. All right, perfect. So it looks like it works great. And if you want to test it, we could go into something like Hitman. We'll go over to the option side. And from here, we can run a quick test on this as well. Start benchmark, and we'll run it with ray tracing on. Zoom this out. There we go. So right now it's just running on Hitman. Welcome to the server, J. Cruz. Hitman's another excellent game. You can see the difference in the power usage too when you do overclock, because we did push the power limit up. And again, AMD's cards are nothing to skip over. And especially for 2025, I highly recommend them, especially if you're just trying to get into PC gaming, because they are quite excellent and 100% worth it, because you're not going to spend that much on it. You're getting 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and on top of it, you're getting a very decent game clocks and boost clocks out of these cards. You could get up to 3.4 gigahertz of boost clock on a AMD RX 9070 XT. So with ray tracing and everything that we have enabled on ultra high here, we got about 78.73, which is actually really good. Now, an important factor to always look for, of course, is not just your drivers, but it's good to have something like hardware info, because this will tell you more about your system. And when you go through something like hardware info here, let me try to clear that up for you guys here. I'll zoom in actually. So it looks something like this. Okay, perfect. And let me just move the camera just a bit here for the vertical side. Oop. Right there. I know it likes to float a little bit on this tripod. Okay, so if you go further down here, you'll get a good indication of how hot the card really gets. Now, on GPU temperature, the maximum that you can see it reach was at 61 degrees. So this card really does not get that hot. Now, if you look over to the memory, let's see, not the memory voltage, but you look at the maximum power out of this card, it says 614. So sometimes you'll see some weird numbers like that. And here's another weird one where it says not memory clock, but when it comes to the actual VRAM, I think it's a bit further down. Yeah, there we go. You'll see memory usage, such as this. 23,682 is the average, which is of course not possible. So sometimes you'll get some weird finicky numbers off of hardware info. More than likely that's probably going to update, and it has to do with AMD, but everything else is more accurate when it comes to, say, GPU clock. Now we had a maximum out of this clock, which was 3.3, which is really high. 3.3 gigahertz is quite amazing. And then the memory clock, we got about 2.5 gigahertz about. But again, it's an impressive card, especially if it really doesn't get hot. It still uses the same 12 volt high power port. And the hottest it really got was 61 degrees Celsius. So as long as if you leave hardware info open, you get a good indication of how well the system is running. So it's not necessarily bad if you have a 12 volt high power port. It's just that everybody's scared of the port because of just how much voltage is really going through it, especially for like a RTX 5090. So again, if you were to overclock once more, since we know those numbers were safe, we can push it a little bit number. It's not really truly safe until we really test it, but I'm just gonna put, say, 50, and then you put 100 the next time. Again, it wouldn't be 100 off of this. It would be practically 100 from its default, which was 2518. Now we're gonna put 2618. Apply changes. run a stress test. But that's the best way to really play it safe on your system. Then you know exactly where the problem is. Some people like to do it one at a time. Some people prefer to just mess with only the boost clock first and then adjust the memory clock. But again, it's up to how you do it. You can choose to do it that way if you'd like, but of course, it's going to take a lot more time to do it that way too. And to run a proper stress test, I'll show you exactly what you do right after this. Now, what you want to do is, this is just like a really light stress test. Sure, you can make a longer duration of it if you'd like, but it's not going to really tell you if the card is stable. And that's what you're really looking for, is stability in the card. And as long as if it's stable, then you should be pretty much good to game on it, practically, without any type of issues, or freezing, or artifacts, or anything weird like that. Okay, so we're good with the stress test. And if you were to go ahead and test it, and to say, we're going to go back to 3D mark here. Now this is more ideal to do like a more stability test to see if your system is stable. You go over to the stress test, and right here we got Steel Nomad. We can run a stress test on that. Now it's the 9070 XT on a generic PMP display. Plug and play this display, and we wanted to run the X12. We can enable window mode, or we don't have to enable it. But once you run this test, it will run it for about 20 times on a 20-time loop here. And then that way it's more stable and a lot easier to tell. Let me fix this real quick. Yeah, it should look something more like that. And when you run a test like this, then it's a lot easier to make sure that the system is stable this way. All right, let's go back here. Just give me a moment. I will be right back after I reset everything here. Right now I'm just moving everything back to the original position. There we go. Perfect. So hopefully that helped you guys out there when it comes to the overclocking. And let me just set this one more time here. Sorry. Perfect. All right. So hopefully that helped you out when it comes with the PC side, like when it comes to overclocking and the thoughts of the RX 9070 XT. And of course, if you got any questions about it, feel free to ask in Discord or feel free to join the chat and we can talk more about it. And if you need any custom built PCs or anything like that, you can go to the website chrismizo.com. Also, if you are interested in asking any more questions about your own personal build, and if you need help with it, you can join the Discord channel as well. And there's actually news I wanted to share. Actually, I can't believe I did not bring it up this whole time, which was Intel. Maybe I did like way in the beginning. But Intel is trying to compete with their Sparkle GPU, which is quite insane. It's supposed to be like off of the Battlemade series. And what Intel Sparkle will have, and is different from AMD, and actually will actually match a little bit more to the NVIDIA side, is that it's going to have 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So can you imagine an Intel card with 24 gigabytes of VRAM? Not sure how quite powerful the card will be, but it will be based off of, it was rumored to be based off of G7. If it did, then it would be a lot closer to competing with NVIDIA. But instead of G7, it's going to be G6. So it's going to be a little bit more closer to AMD. And since Intel is doing this, it's almost has to force the hand of AMD to actually do something now. Because the funny thing is, AMD actually has an embedded chip or like a mobile chip that is coming out. And it's going to be based on the RX 9080. And it's actually called the 9080. But the odd part is it's only 16 gigabytes. So you would think it would definitely have more VRAM in it, even if it's combined with the actual RAM of the laptop. But it would make a little bit more sense before calling it 9080. But more of that has to be unveiled, and I'm sure a lot more information will be released of Computex. Because Computex, they are supposed to make a large announcement. So the 5070 Ti or the 9070 XT for the same price, they're pretty much close to the same price, except the 9070 XT is actually still cheaper. 5070 Ti is still a little bit more expensive because of just a little bit more, but not by much. It's probably like about like 200, I think, dollars more if you go for the 5070 Ti over the 9070 XT. Now, this, for example, the Sapphire Nitro Plus, I can say for sure that was $770 if you want to go get the Ti version. But of course, Sapphire doesn't make anything for NVIDIA. But if they did, the closest comparison would say ASUS's tough RTX 5070 Ti. That's like almost just a little bit over $1,000. So you're looking at about like almost like actually like closer to a $200 to $300 difference between the two. But if you were able to get it for the same price, and if you were to choose one, I would say 5070 Ti would be a good choice. Of course, that's something I would love to compare it to, because the 5070 is based off of the GB205, I think it is. It's practically the same as the 5070, but it just has more VRAM. That's the only difference between the 5070 and the 5070 Ti. Now the 5080 is quite different because that's a different type of chipset there, and I'd say that's like more standard across when it comes to gamers wise. So if you were to use a card for gaming, 5080 is definitely the way to go. 5090 is a bit expensive, especially for how much it costs. 5090s, you're going to spend well over $3,000 for that card. And all the cards that are available now, they're about the $3,200 to $3,400 range. Even for a PMY Epic's ARGB one, it's $3,400. What's up, Amir? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I've been doing really good, actually. A little bit of a rough start. Not used to starting at 12, so my head's all like kind of thrown off. I took Jonah over to the vet with his arthritis shot. Seems to be doing better. Seems to be recovering. But thanks for the well wishes. I hope everything's been going well with you. And but if you were to compare the two, and if you were able to get it for the same price, I would assume the 5070 Ti would be very good to go to. But I would love to test them together just to get a good indication of like what's really better. Because sometimes the 9070 XT is good enough to compete to the 4080. The 5080 even has trouble competing with the 4080 at times. So it's kind of odd for that to happen. But I gotta say, 9070 XT is highly recommended. 5070 Ti is a great card too, more than likely. And got the best deal ever, swap deal for my RTX 4090 Founder Edition for the ROG Z890 and a 285K CPU. That's not bad at all. No problem. Just got to get CU them DDR5. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tough to get. That's not as easy to get for sure. And I wonder why my broadcast keeps updating here. So not sure whether to get Corsair or G.Skill. Now, yeah. Oh, and it's a Hero. The Heroes are great boards too. Heroes are excellent boards. If you were to get that, I would say, now Corsair and G.Skill are both great memory. Really, it's more of the latency that you want to look for, and the same with the speed of the RAM. So for Intel's 285K, I would say it's more than likely a good idea to go towards like the 6400 side, 6400 megahertz. You could get 6600, but the thing about that is you would definitely have to tune it. Corsair is definitely good too. They're both great RAM. I believe both of them still use. I believe they both use the Hynix die, if I'm not mistaken. CL40 8400 megahertz. Now if you can get it, but understand for sure, like if you do choose to go that route, you will definitely have to tune it yourself to make it work like better and properly. What I would suggest, if you could get both of them, you can get the 8400 megahertz, and you can also get the 6400 megahertz, and see which one responds better in your own personal opinion. Try them both, and whatever you don't like, just send that one back. Because then 48 gigabytes is definitely a good spot. 48 gigabytes is definitely the best sweet spot, I'd say, especially when it comes to if you want to go dual RAM and you don't want to take up all four spaces. So, but yeah, Intel's supposed to come out with this Sparkle. It looks pretty nice actually. I'm just curious how competitive it's going to be. I wonder if it's going to be able to compete well when it comes to the whole with AMD and when it comes to Nvidia. But I think Intel's really trying to step up their game. Not just this year. I think we can expect Intel to really push for 2026, especially because they got their new 18A coming out, and unfortunately because of the 18A, with RAM just yeah, I mean G.Skill does have they do have their own issues when it comes to certain capabilities. I've known where RGBs have died out on G.Skill RAM too. That's the only thing about it, for sure. And I do gotta say that where was I saying? Now I just lost my whole train of thought there. But yeah, for highest speed RAM sticks. Yeah, and the funny thing is with G.Skill, they're a great company. They really are. It's just like anything else. It's almost like you kind of get what you pay for, because the thing with G.Skill is they do have great RAM. In fact, I got G.Skill RAM in this PC itself, but I do notice like over time it does wear a bit quicker compared to something like Corsair. Even though they use like similar chipsets, I believe they use Hynix, if I'm not mistaken now. They were like I know Corsair was using Samsung for a while too. Oh really? That's terrible. If a RAM dies too, you would really notice it too, because your PC won't really even turn on if it's like a RAM problem. And most of the case, like when your PC's not starting, like when you have that cold boot and you have those codes, like typically the Q codes, the Q code will typically let you know that it's the RAM that's going bad most of the time. It's usually not really anything else other than the RAM most of the time. But G.Skill now has CKCU DIMM. Yes. Let me see. Were you and they don't have any in stock too, right? From in your location either, Amir? I know they have some in stock on Newegg, but you're looking for 8400 megahertz, right? I know they got 88, and this is also G.Skills too. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, when it comes to PC builds, especially for Intel, that's where I wanted to lead to actually. Oh, on Amazon US, he bought one set of two X16 gigabytes and one of the 6 died. Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, anytime that happens to a PC, that would be terrible for that to happen. But I do have to say, what is really different about Intel, especially for the upcoming year, and I think it's throwing everybody off, is that Intel is going to change up the chipset again. And Intel plans to change it up at the 18A. It's going to be, what is it? Intel 19, what is it? Intel's 18A socket. They're supposed to change up their chipset because they're not going to use the Z890 afterwards. Surprisingly, it's like they only kept it for one generation compared to what they did with Intel's 1954. That's what it is. I was trying to think of that number. Socket 1954. So they're trying to change it up to that. It's not like how they did with the prior generations with the Z690 all the way to the 790. But they actually kept those for a while. 690 was like for 2 years. 790 was like for 2 years. They did come out with like the 790 Max. But then for this chipset specifically, they only kept it for 1 year. And now they're already moving to LGA 1954, which is pretty insane. So he got a new set for free because he had the warranty. So he got another set, and this time both new sticks died. Really? Wow. So at least they sent him the new sticks. I know some companies give a little bit of a harder time to do that. But it's good that G.Skill did that, but it's a shame that that's happened. Now, I can say for sure, like the closest thing that's happened to me, like dying like that, like when it comes to NVMEs, is actually Sabrent. Sabrent has done that before, where specifically the Sabrent rockets, because they were like the most quickest PCI Express NVMe that you can really get. It's PCI Express 4 at the time, which was like the best. But the problem with it is, like within about a year, it just like all my data just disappeared, which sucked. So you got a buyer that wants to buy your Z790 Dark Hero plus the 14900K CPU, G.Skill 7200 megahertz. Oh, really? The funny thing is, I feel like PC parts are really hot now, so it's a lot easier to sell because it seems like the used market, a lot of people prefer to buy used right now compared to new, just because of how expensive PC hardware is right now. Oh. Yeah, but the 149, I'm really curious because we got a Z890 board in ourselves, and I'm just curious to see what type of benchmark numbers we can really pull out of it. especially because it's the things that I've heard of 285K or any of the 15th gen processors here haven't been really that great. But I am really curious about Panther Lake because that's supposed to be a lot more competitive. Originally, it was supposed to compete with AMD's processors, but they said that it doesn't really compete with the 2 nanometer process. Instead, it's going to compete more with the 5 nanometer process. So, I don't know if Intel's just blowing smoke again, just making themselves feel relevant. But I'm more curious to see if it actually happens. Intel ups the game with the new BIOS update with the 200S boost. That's interesting. Yeah, for the Ultra series. So for anyone that has the old, it's funny because I was looking for someone else who had a Intel processor. I think you, Amir, and I think Plano are the ones that have Intel processors. I think most other people, they all have, it's mostly all AMD dominant, which is pretty insane. So I was curious about that to see what type of benchmarks and everything that you get out of it. And then once you do, Amir, definitely post it on Discord, because I know you're on Discord too. You can definitely show it. I would love to see it. And yeah, I got to take a look at that. One of these days, maybe within several weeks, I'll probably go to Micro Center and start working on that other build. Because right now, I'm unsure of what type of build to do quite yet. Because I'm thinking of doing a stealth build with this motherboard, but it's going to be hard because it's a Gigabyte AORUS Master, and that's like an RGB board there. So I don't know if I could really do a stealth build off of it. I might just do like a regular like Intel build. Yeah, Cinebench R23 would be good. See, because the good thing about Intel, I gotta say, is that they are good when it comes to the whole encoder process. So if you're using it for like for content creation and everything like that, they are good to use for that. Like Photoshop and Adobe, they're excellent for that. And they're great when it also comes to gaming. It's one of those underrated processors, especially compared to AMD. So of course AMD is great, definitely ahead of the industry when it comes to it, but they just can't compete with. It's just that the whole competition part of it when it comes to both Intel and AMD. As I just need to get CU dim. Like once you get that, you're pretty much good. So you have everything for your build from what it sounds like. You have just about everything. Are you using the same case? Yes, I will do a budget PC build for sure. I definitely plan on doing one. Oh, excuse me, guys. Just got to swap out batteries here. Forgive me. Be right back as I will swap out the batteries. There we go. We should be pretty much good to go now. And let me just do this real quick, and then it'll work. There we go. Now we're back. Perfect. So, I have a friend of mine's 285K. He gets over 40. That's pretty crazy, actually. That's excellent. For a Cinnamon benchmark, that's really good. Vantex MV7 plus my RTX 5090 FE. Corsair iCUE H150 AIO. That would be a nice setup there. I really like 2000's gaming PC cases. Their designs are super underrated. Definitely are. I do miss the designs, especially the old Cooler Master cases. I love the half 932 cases. And they had like those cases where they almost look like kind of like Alienware, but they weren't Alienware. They were like their own designs. They were pretty amazing too. So with all 12 QX1, that's insane. That's a lot of money there. Because 3 fans are like $150 for Corsair's QX 120 fans. So let alone that's like what, it almost like $600 in fans. That's quite insane. It would look really nice though. Definitely looks nice. I just hope Corsair really ends up fixing iCUE. I'm really hoping that iCUE 6 does get released upcoming soon. Because if they do, it would be really nice. Because Corsair really has to fix their product. Originally, it was a great concept. Because iCUE, what they originally wanted to do with 5 was get rid of all the extra bloatware that was on there. Get rid of any devices that you did not have. Instead, just break it down to the devices you did have. But instead, it just has gotten a lot more problematic. So, yeah, a lot of PC cases, especially now, it seems like everyone wants to kind of look like Lee and Lee's cases, like where it's like practically all glass up in the front. It seems like it's mostly like that. Oh, you did load up a video on Discord. Definitely got to take a look at it. You know what I'm going to do is if you feel comfortable to do it, we can always do something like a video, almost like a kind of like a video meet, and then stream that, and then we could share your PC build and take a look at it, almost like a PC review. And I'll have to create a channel for that. Or maybe we could do it right in the voice channels, actually. I'll have to take a look at it and kind of play around with it. Yeah, but it's funny, too, because just the other day on Wednesday, there was a PC case we were looking at. It looked just like a Lee case, except that you couldn't put fans on the bottom of it. It was all glass, and it almost looked like there wasn't enough airflow in it. You could put the power supply in it on the bottom, and you can put, I think there was like hard drive cases, and that's it. But the case is all glass, and that there was only a few places you could put fans, so it almost looked like there wasn't enough airflow in the case. So some cases, they're designed really nice, but the thing is you have to really check the airflow at the same time too. Oh yeah, that would be nice. So I've been trying to test out that feature because I figured like it would be nice to do kind of like almost like interviews, because then we could definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, actually I did open it up. It's right down here, video interviews, on live stream interviews. So for everyone that is in the channel, they can definitely have access to it. My PC is actually a pre-built, so I guess it would not rate as well as everyone else's build. Oh really? For some reason, I always thought you built your PC, Plano. You have an excellent build, though. You have a 14900K. Do you know that I'm curious about your motherboard then, most of all then. Because if you got a 14900K, I'm just curious about your motherboard, and you have an excellent GPU, too. It must have been expensive. I'm assuming if it is a pre-built, it has to be like one of the high ones, like it has to be like an Alienware or something. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean with the Lee cases. Oh, the 13900K. That's right. HP Omen. They're also excellent gaming PCs as well. HP Omen's great. So is Alienware's HP Omen. I think they're really the only two that I would really think of. I know Lenovo makes them too, but they're not as big. Like when it comes to like pre-built PC gaming cases. Okay, I'll go check it out. So right now, oh, perfect, nice. That does look nice. I could share it with everyone on stream too. So I'll share right now what Amir has built, and I'll zoom in on it. But it looks nice though. It looks really nice. This is my current. This is the current that I'm going to. So let me switch it over real quick. I'm going to switch it over to Discord share here. And this is it. And let me share it on here too. There we go. Let me move it around when there we go. You can see it better that way. Let me rewind it. But this is it here. And let me adjust it here so you guys can see it. There we go. Perfect. But it looks something like this. But it definitely stands out. Wow, you can even fit up to, if you wanted to, you could put 420 millimeter radiator over there on the side if you wanted to. With the 50. Nice. That is really nice. You even got the wheels on it and everything too. And that's the funny thing, that a lot of cases do look like how it has these, like almost like these glass cases on the side. Like a lot of them are like that now. I feel like it was like Liam Lee who first did it first. And then it's like everybody else kind of piggybacked off of it. So we're almost at the stalemate of it. So many fans. Yeah, it's a lot of fans. But it's definitely the right way. Well, yeah, you have 4, 6, 5, 6, 7. You have, I'm assuming 7 intake, right? And then the 3 up top are probably the exhaust side. And then you have 2 in the back. I think it's a 2 in the back too. Let me go back. Yeah, you have 2 in the back too, is it? My wallet just hurts looking at it. Yeah. And here, and I'll show you his the pieces that he put together here, which is a ROG Maximus Z890, and he does have an Intel Ultra 285. That's a nice looking board. I gotta show you guys this too. Let me switch screens here. And sorry for the vertical sign. Just getting used to that. And let me move this around so you guys can see it. There we go. And oh, Discord chat. There we go. Now you guys can see it. Perfect. But he has the Intel Core i9, the 285K. He has the Z890 motherboard. And that actually sits really nice. That's a Maximus too. That's a high-end motherboard. High-end. That's like $1,000 motherboard. But yeah, that's going to be quite the beast. It had to come with some like really sick accessories with it too, because the good thing is like when you buy ASUS products, they always come with like really good stuff. Like something like this would probably come with USB-C and all kinds of stuff. And here's the Intel i9 285K. That's an excellent build. I'm excited for you. I am excited to see how that turns out. And for everyone else's build that are 14900K, undervolted as well. Oh wow. You got to send the benchmarks too. Like compare the stock bench. Do you have the stock benchmarks with you, or screenshot it? Because I'm curious. Or you could probably just recite it too. Either way, you can put it into the chat because I'm curious about that too. And the good thing too is, it seems that is like a way to go, especially now. It's definitely undervolting. Nobody overvolts anymore now. Nice. Yeah, you've been going hard at it too. What's the temperatures like? I gotta ask. Vertex NV7. Do you want to have a look at this unique budget piece? Yeah, sure. Yeah, please share it. I'd love to see it. Z890 Hero 285K. It's called the Kolink Big Chungus. That's a funny name. The Big Chungus Unit Edition. It sounds insane. All right, I'll look it up right now and I'll share it with everybody here. Okay, Big Chungus Edition. Okay, I think I found it. Wow. All right, so I'm going to share this with everybody out there. It would be under... Right now I'm just I'm just like scrolling through everything, my fault, for on the vertical side. So, and here on the stream browser, there we go. The Big Chungus Edition. That's the case there. Kolink's Big Chungus Unit Edition. It's a very interesting concept though. Kind of looks like it kind of reminds me of like a, for some weird reason, it reminds me of like an escalator almost. Oh, go over here on the side. Now that seems like it would fit nicely on something like on the floor, right? Or would you put it on the table? It almost looks like an architect built this. So, okay, so it was at 40K, like without the undervolt. Undervolted. Okay. Okay. No, that's really good though. Undervolted wise, that's excellent. That's great for anyone who wants to do anything like any type of Adobe work. That would be like a good build for them for sure. USB-C as USB 3.1, and it looks like I'm assuming maybe USB 2 or 3 down there. Table 100%. It's funny too because actually it would probably fit in the table pretty nicely, because if you sat it back, you still have room for the fan to exhaust the air right here, because it's not going to like rub up against the wall. So you get about 60. That's with the processor. That's yeah, that's about right. That's not too bad actually. And I remember yeah, it really isn't. Download the specifications, download the C doc. Trying to find the price here. Where to buy. So for me, I guess it would be like under, so 119, you're in British pounds, is it? For the US, for us, I don't even think, they have Kolink here, but I don't know if they had that specific case. I'm curious if they do. I'm about to look it up here. No, not on this side. They don't. But that's actually an excellent price for that case. Especially because the case, if you looked at PC cases recently, they've been getting a lot more expensive too. Just for a PC case, because I think a lot of the cases that you look at now, they're running at least 150 or more now compared to what it used to be, which is insane. But that is a really nice looking case though. There's one case I really liked, and then which was like a shark case. It was pretty dope looking actually. Can i3 12th gen is better for productivity like game development, or an i5 9th gen? I've only have two options. So if you only have those two options, amazing tech, and you're choosing between the two, i3 wouldn't be as good. What type of, I'm assuming, like you said, like game development, or an i5 9th gen? And you can only choose between the both of those. That's kind of tough there, because i5's kind of a bit dated too now. And you're trying to do game development. Now, if I were to select between the two, and you were to pick, I'd say I would still go with the 12th gen. Because the problem is, like, if you do go 9th gen, even though it's like an i5, and but back then i5 was like i7 now. Are you sure you can't go up a little bit more? Maybe i5? Because i3 is really low for 12th gen. Because they had up all the way up to the i9, I believe, now. Like for when the 12th gen came out, which was the 12900K. Let's see. Take a look at what Alex is showing here. There you go. Oh, but here it says this item, it's funny, here it says this item cannot be dispatched to your selected delivery location. But it is a really nice case though. And it says, I play on the Samsung QN90D TV and I love it. Yeah, definitely take advantage of it. It's crazy. Like, if anybody has like an OLED TV too, I have to say, and you have a gaming PC and you want to experience OLED gaming, you got to try it. Because it's quite amazing. And you can take full advantage. The input lag's really low on OLEDs, so you won't have any issues there. And also, I do have to mention for everyone that's just tuning in, or if you're already familiar with the channel and watch my long format videos, I'm going to change up the time now to that when I premiere the long format videos. I'm going to make them on Sunday between, I think it's about 2 to 4 about. So I'll start doing it as soon as tomorrow, that I'll be posting up a long format video if you're just wondering why there wasn't a new video up this morning. So I apologize for anyone that didn't see the notice. And I'm just here to let you know that there will still be plenty more of long format video content coming. And it will certainly be tomorrow that you will see something new. So I'll post. And also, for everyone that's just joining in, if you're not part of the Discord channel and you want to be a part of the wonderful Discord, please join right down below here. And you can ask any type of questions that you would like. If you need help with your PC build, we love to help you out here. Or if you want to get a custom build, usually I ship PC builds within the US. So if you are in the US and you want a PC build, feel free to let me know. Or I also have it on my website, which is at chrismizo.com. And on chrismizo.com, you could it has its own store, so you could check it out. Up on the top, you'll see a PC icon if you want to join it. Or if you want to join the free giveaway, please do. It's down in the bottom of the website. You can just click it, and it will take you to the free giveaway and give you a chance to win a Samsung 990 Pro, 1 terabyte with the heatsink. And it also does, or you can put it inside of your PC if you'd like, and also giving out one piece of merch. Okay, so, but it is very interesting to see the way the cases have gone. Now, I gotta ask you guys what your thoughts of is something like this, because I thought about doing a build with something like this here, and I'm gonna share it real quick with you guys here. It is right here. Oh, I accidentally highlighted what you said, hi, Alex. Where was it? There you go. And right there. What do you guys think of that? Haven cases are nice, Chris. Oh yeah, I got to take a look at them too. I'll put that actually in the search bar next. This is a fractal design case. It's like a minimalistic design. And it looks like it's really easy to move and everything. Let me move it over for you guys over here on the vertical side. Let me see. Let me lock that up. And there we go. I had to move this. There we go. Looks something like this. And here's the back of it, the side of it. It's like a tiny case, but you can actually put a full-size GPU in this. Let me see. It's going to, I want to show you guys. You see the side of it? You can actually sit it on the riser, a full-size GPU. But the motherboard would have to be small though. It would have to be an ITX board here that goes in there. Co-Link Big. There's also Co-Link Big Chungus, the standard one. All right, so I'll look up this one first, and we can look at the Big Chungus one again. Let's see. I'll copy that here, and we'll look this up. Human cases. Maybe it's more in, let me just Google it then. Haven cases, there we go. These are nice. But again, it kind of gives you that, I don't know why, they all have this like Lean Lee look to it now. Like they all do this. Like the front panel is glass, and then you have the right side of the case that's glass as well. It's a bit interesting that they do this now. And for the Co-Link Big Chungus, the standard one, I'll just Google that. I'll copy that, paste it. Not the unit edition. Let me see. Cases. Would it be the, I'm assuming, is it full tower? Big Chungus. Yeah, this one, right? As it looks like it's red on the bottom. For some reason, it doesn't let me pick it. I wonder why it won't let me go into it. Maybe they don't have it on the website no more. I'll just look up Big Chungus. The Big Chungus. They got shredded too. I can't find the regular Big Chungus. Unfortunately. Let me go here. I wonder what the shredded. I'm taking a look at this real quick. This doesn't look bad either. That kind of gives you like almost like a cyberpunk type of feel to it. This actually doesn't look bad. This actually looks different from other cases too. Chassis seems pretty flexible. It seems like you have a lot of room to work with too. I'm just curious. This looks like it's a little tight, but I wonder if you could just loosen that up and then you can adjust. The Big Boy Fantix N9. All right, we'll Google that real quick. The MV9. That's pretty nice too. That's a tall one. Is this also 420? I bet it is. Yeah, 420, I knew it. I could tell by the height of it. It looks really tall. Doesn't look like a standard 360. And then that's the one I meant. Oh, okay, okay. No, it's really nice though. Yeah, this one definitely stands out a bit. This one's a nice case. I do like this one. See, the funny thing is like that one of those like knockoff cases I saw, you couldn't even put bottom fans on it. But this one you can. Like if it's going to have glass around it, at least have like the fans on the bottom, so that way you can properly ventilate the system. Oh, that makes sense. No, yeah, no wonder why. No wonder why you definitely picked the right system when you went for this, because especially how it is. Did you ever think about going full 20, going for a 420 millimeter radiator? Because I know Corsair has them too now, don't they? For the iCUE. I'm pretty sure that they do. Let me see, Corsair 420, right? I'm sure they got an AIO now. I remember they have it for their LCD one. Let's see. It's yep, right here, 420. It's just out of stock though. Now the thing is, it looks like it shows only 3 fans. So more than likely, I'm assuming it's like 140 maybe for each fan that they put on there. See, the good thing, the good thing about 140 millimeter fans and 120. Oh, okay. So they only support up to 120. I see. Oh, so these are 140. Because I was going to say, if anybody ever thought about like swapping out to a 420 and they have like 140 millimeter fans and they're bigger, it's definitely a good idea to swap them out if you can and put 140 in there, because they're, even though they have slower RPMs, but they're more silent too. Slower RPMs, but they get more airflow too. Now the 120, they usually are a lot higher in airflow, but they just don't get enough they just work a lot harder for the air that they had to push through the system or push out the system. So that makes sense. That certainly makes sense. But yeah, these are all excellent choices there. All interesting cases. There's this one case I got to share with you guys. I think it was the Thermaltake that had this. And I don't, maybe you guys have seen this one too. Was it Thermaltake? Or was it, trying to remember what company, maybe it was Cooler Master. It was either Thermaltake or Cooler Master that came with this. And it's going to probably be very hard to find. Oh yeah, it's Cooler Master. This is a very dope case, but wait till you see the price of this. It'll make your jaw drop. I'm going to switch it over real quick. There we go. Right there. That's a PC case. But take a look at how much they want for it. $7,000 case. It's pretty amazing looking, right? It doesn't even look like a PC. The Shark X. Plastic and steel. You can only put mini ITX. But that's pretty wild looking. I think it was this, and they have one other one that's pretty crazy. One I saw that at CES was pretty amazing was this, where it's a PC case that actually looks like part of a race car, which is pretty dope. Let's take a look at their case. It's been a while since I looked at Cooler Master. I've always liked their designs. I just feel like I don't know what's happened to them recently. Another thing that I miss a lot is the full tower cases. They were great cases here. It still seems that they have them, like the half 700 Cosmos Infinity 30th Anniversary Edition. See, these are kind of like retro cases too, in a way, right? Because they don't have like the glass front, but now it's just like they have the ventilation up in the front, right? And then you look at the side of it. Yeah, for sure. We definitely got to catch up. This is a pretty dope case, actually. I kind of miss these like full tower cases. $600 though for a case is a lot. All right, I'll see you around. I'll actually be going off soon myself. I gotta give this little guy a bath too. Gotta make sure he's nice and fresh. Hopefully he's feeling a lot better, most of all. And this is another brand that's similar to like that. Oh, okay. I'll take a look at this one. Kadir's PC case. That's actually not bad. Pricing wise, $110. That's really good. It's very similar for sure. It looks like you can fit like a full ATX motherboard in there too. Controlled by computer software, enjoy high performance cooling. So it supports up to ATX. It does have USB-C. See, the good thing about these two is I always like the filters. I always like designs like this because it's like so many cases, they don't look, they're all practically glass now. So this definitely does stand out a lot. It's definitely something I should put on my list, actually. I'll throw this on my cart just in case. Just in case if we can fit it into like a budget build, that would be nice. Oh, here goes one too. They have deck flash. Let's see. What's really cheap? Kind of looks like every other case, right? This dark flash micro. Okay, so it comes with 3 fans. Now this is like a mini typical case. Very interesting design. But it looks like you can fit a full length GPU in there. Let me see. The size it can go up to, the specifications. Full, okay. Where is it at? Max cooler height's 180, which is plenty. That's really good. It's funny, they don't mention the GPU size. Where is it at? Max VGA length, max PSU length, max CPU length. That's exactly what I was thinking. This would be good for a unique budget PC. Exactly. I'll definitely throw this into the mix as well. No way you can fit a full ATX. All right, so hopefully everybody out there enjoyed the stream. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to check out the Discord channel. If you haven't, I'll post it right here into the chat. Make it easy for you guys. It is right here. And usually if you have any questions at all, you can feel free to just ask away, and all of us will help you out. Alexander is one of our great mods out there, and he's more than willing to also help out as well. Also, if you are thinking of getting a PC build and you don't want to really do a PC build yourself, you just want to purchase one, we do have them on the website, which is at chrismizo.com. Or you can feel free to reach me at Discord if you want a completely custom build. Feel free to also let me know. And if you want to join the free giveaway, it's on the website. Also, it's on chrismizo.com. Just scroll down all the way to the bottom where you see Jonah holding the gift. Again, it's for the Samsung 990 Pro plus a piece of merch. So, FanBam guys, typically I will stream on Wednesdays between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. On Saturdays, I do usually for 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Today was a late stream because it was a special circumstance because we had to take our dog over to the vet care, make sure he was feeling all right. He just had some arthritis, and luckily everything's okay with him. So next week is actually his birthday, so hopefully you guys will tune in for that. It will be his birthday special. So thank you guys again so much for joining. I appreciate all of you. I love all you guys out there who is part of the stream. And if you have any ideas or have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. We are more than open to talk about anything here. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. And for those who are trying to find the 5090, it is in stock, and it's coming in slowly. It's like every 15 minutes it's coming in stock. It's also in the description box down below. Highly recommend. You don't have to get it if it's just for gaming. If you are getting it for gaming, or getting something for gaming, I highly recommend the RX 9070 XT. And to answer Alex's question, how old will Jonah be turning? He will actually be turning 13 years old next week. He's an old man. He's an old doggy. But he's a great dog. And I'm glad he's doing as well as he is. He's been through a lot. Definitely one of the best dogs that a person could ask for sure. As you see, he's actually the logo of the... Oh, let me switch back over here. Back into the regular chat mode. But he's actually one of the best dogs anyone could ask for. And I actually had him since he was 2 months. I had him since he was able to fit in the palm of my hand, actually. And since then, he's just practically grown up, and just probably one of the most calmest dogs you would ever meet. Doesn't bark at anything, nothing. And he's friendly to both people and dogs. But anyway, Jonah is part of he's actually part of the logo here. He's actually the dog in the logo. So that's why I always figured we wanted to represent him in some way and fit him inside of the brand. So Jonah, that's why everything's called Jonah Tees, Jonah's hats, or Jonah's. So if you ever check out the merch store on chrismizo.com, that's all Jonah there. But thanks again, everybody, for joining in. I appreciate it. And feel free to ask any questions. And if you're looking forward for the long format videos, they will be posted as soon as tomorrow. And yes, he is the channel's mascot. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure Jonah appreciates it as well. He sends his loves. Thank you again, everybody, for watching.